Hello? You're allowed to answer back, it's alright. Hello. A TED Talk. A prestigious, innovative way, an idea how we can change the world. Also, a very professionally delivered version of that said idea. When I was offered to do a TED Talk, of course I said yes! I'm confident, definitely know what I'm doing, yes. It was about 2 days after that, I realised I would then actually have to go and do a TED Talk. That's how these things work, right? I realised when I stand up here, I'd have to say hopefully the most profound thing I've said in my life so far, and you'd all receive that and it'd be fantastic. And then I thought, well, maybe not. So I'd like to explain briefly. I put out this book called Our Story Called Life, because I was a weird kid growing up. When my friends were thinking first boyfriends, first girlfriends, I was thinking, what's the meaning of life? Is there a God? What happens after we die? Weird headspace for like a 12-year-old. And I used to sit there and actually bang my head against the wall, because I didn't know how to control my thoughts. So I was very lucky, with parental consent to make sure I didn't join a cult. I went around the world, spoke to some amazing experts, from silent monks in Asia, who didn't want to give me many answers, to a whole array of people, from celebrities to homeless people, to children, to adults, to elderly people, men, women, everybody in between, questioning them on what is the meaning of life? How do we find some sort of purpose? Because I'm a young kid and I have no idea. And so when it came to the TED Talk, I thought, well, what do I speak on? And then I thought, well, I hopefully want to be clever. Because we all tell ourselves the narrative inside our heads. Our Story Called Life. There's a nice little book like that. And I really wanted to think, how can I challenge that in myself and for you? Because it's very easy to stand up and do a TED Talk as an expert. It's very easy now to be informed on something. We have access to all kinds of information. We live more connected to each other than ever. But actually, we're missing a lot as well. And so I thought I want to challenge the narrative inside of your head. Instead of standing up here as a TED speaker and doing a TED Talk, I wanted to stand up here as a person and speak to you all on an individual level. Because we could do the expert thing. I could stand up here and talk about universal consciousness, a common universal consciousness story we tell ourselves. How this moment we're experiencing is like a groundhog effect sort of thing, where we're always telling ourselves the same narrative in the same moment, over and over again. Our past, a collection of memories that we've told ourselves. The future, anticipations of the future. Actually, all it is this moment we're experiencing now. Really, I click my fingers. I could have chosen not to. I could have done it then, but I didn't. So for everything you do, there's about 6 million things you choose not to do. But of course, that's not just you. You're part of a moving picture, a constant influx, shaping of what's going on around us. So before you add in what you're doing and all the things you didn't do, you have done all the things that everybody else in this room hasn't done. And then apply that to everybody in the world, because we're all doing it at the same time. And then work out that this moment we're experiencing right now is the culmination of everything that ever happened to everybody who ever or never lived. Or you could look at someone and just say, "You alright?" And they go, "No." And you go, "Well, can I help?" Can I help? 3 words, we all know them, we've all used them, hopefully. And we all know we should use it more. You're nodding your head because you know it's true. Because this is fantastic, and there's a time and a place for grand ideas and ideas worth sharing. Of course there are, nobody's denying that. But what's the point? What is the point in doing anything? Of colonising Mars, of voting in the next election, of being so involved in all the complicated stuff, if we can't look at somebody and say, "Can I help?" Because when a society is at its most, prosperous, there is the highest rates of depression and suicide. How? When World War II was happening, there was the lowest rates we've recorded. Why is it when we're given total freedom, our happiness suffers? Why is it when we can have anything we want, we stop thinking about what we really need? And so that's what I want to do today. I want to challenge your narrative. And we all do it. And we're all ashamed to admit we do it, because we're all human. But that's the point. Perception narrowing, your brain physically shapes from the age of 1. It's why none of us could learn a new language without struggle. But babies can detect it like that because they know. And that's fantastic and human and crazy. But it's also awful, because we're shutting ourselves off to so much. When the organisers called me up and said, what niche topic are you going to speak on? What thing do you have expertise in that you can deliver to people and totally inspire them? That topic that you know everything about but not many other people do. And I said, I've got it. The meaning of life. They sniggered as well and said, but you're 20. And I went, yeah. I said, I'm not done, because what about if I do it improvised and don't rehearse at all? At that point, they looked slightly more concerned, but I explained why I wanted to do it, and they've let me. So here we are, the improvised meaning of life. Because there's one thing I do know, because you know it too, and it's that you're scared. I'm scared, and we all are. We're all terrified. And I'm not talking to you now. You can sit there all dressed up because you're at a TED event and pretend like it's not you, but it is. 3 a.m. you. That's what I'd say. 3 a.m. you. When you wake up terrified that the mic could go wrong. Petrified that the world might not turn in your favour. That's for you I'm talking to. Because we're all freaking out that maybe there's no point. We're all worrying maybe I am insignificant. Most of you will know how unlikely your birth is, and you think I'm special, and then you come into the world and you do whatever you do, and you get to a point where you go, I'm not where I want to be. And you're thinking, you don't know anything, mate, you're 20 years old. You've had no problems yet. And that's the point, I haven't. I'm hopefully not going to have that many. But I do get it, because I don't know your meaning of life. I don't know my meaning of life. But I do know they are similar. And that beyond this, because this is fantastic, but it doesn't matter. The chairs, the purple chairs, the sign, it's great, but it's a narrative to sell it to you. It's just a narrative. I wear this because I think it looks good. And I hope it validates me to you. And you will do the same, and that's how we show up and we act as who we are to the world. But it's not real. Me and you, there now, we could have this conversation on the bus. We wouldn't, we'd be too busy on our phones, but we could. Because I could talk about an expert topic. I could tell you how to write a book. And then tell you it might do all right. I could give you that advice, but what's the point in doing any of that if we're not at a place where we can lay a foundation down and go, if you're not all right, why don't we try and help each other? And I don't want to come across as one of these millennial lefty people, because we're all sick of that. But at the same time, you've only got to look at what's gone on this week in the news to realise I'm bored of that too. Are you not bored of the conversation? Me and my brother in a band, we were in America touring not long ago. No advert in America doesn't reference the fact it's an advert anymore. Your favourite TV shows, all the characters know that they're TV show characters. Because everything's a joke. And I sometimes do comedy, so believe me, that's fantastic. But everything's a joke. Because God forbid we're serious with each other. God forbid we sit down and remove that stuff and go, are we alright? Because I don't know the meaning of life, surprisingly. And I'm guessing you don't either. But I do know we have very, very common narratives inside of our heads. And when we can become aware that we've got that narrative going on, we can realise that everyone else does too. And at that point, we can really connect on some sort of deeper level. And you can call it what you want. But I've seen everything from extreme Christianity to Satanism, to spiritualism, to nihilism. I met silent monks in Asia. I met neo-Nazis in America. What was difficult was when you realise they're saying similar things. And it's easy to look at someone and go, that's who you are, that's the story, done. That's who you are in my reality. What's difficult is to say, how are you two similar? How can we all connect on a common level? And I don't know anything about politics. I don't know about how the world works. But I've met people on the level of pain, vulnerability, love. Love's a dodgy word to use nowadays, isn't it? It's too broad. But why? If I stand up here and tell you about universal consciousness, if I can say it, you will have no idea. but you'll accept it. Not understand, but you'll accept it. I stand up and go, I'm not going to do that, but can we be nice? And you go, you understand it, but you don't accept it. So my whole point today is, can we become aware of the narrative we're telling ourselves, and can we challenge that? Hopefully, maybe for the majority of people, because we're all doing it. We're all carrying around the heavy luggage behind us of issues and problems, and we've all got those dreams and anticipations in the future that hopefully the world turns in our favour. But just know if it doesn't, that's cool too, because it's the story we're telling ourselves. So I'd like to show you a spoken word right now, and it goes like this. It's hard to be a human being when I'm not sure what being human means. But all we need is faith to believe in everything that we can be. And I'm standing on my own 2 feet and taking hold of destiny. We're lost kids of love and peace, or maybe we're the kings and queens. Now yesterday's gone and tomorrow's not mine, and our story called life is just something we write. But all we need is one day at a time. All we need is one day at a time. So put your dogma down for a while. There's faith in the stars and the heart of a child. It makes me believe in nothing more than in the truth of who we are. Just give me space and time to dream, and enough integrity to see that for every shred of decency, there is something to believe in. Because yesterday's gone and tomorrow's not mine, and our story called life is just something we write. But all we need is one day at a time. All we need is one day at a time. Be kind. And you might just find yourself with some sort of meaning in this crazy existence where we can't find any usually. Be brave, and before you know it, you might be a TED Talk. But above all else, be an author. Because when you can write the narrative, when you become aware of that, you can then start doing that together. And at that point, I don't know, maybe us naive, idealistic 20-year-old dreamers could change the world. Thank you.